Everything changes the moment you decide to protect your mind as the greatest asset in your life.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success while others are stuck in a cycle of frustration, fear, and stagnation? No, it's not luck. And it's not destiny either. It's mentality. It is what happens inside the head that determines everything that manifests itself on the outside. And here's an uncomfortable truth. If your life is stuck, it's because your mind is programmed for it. Hard to listen to? Perhaps. But liberating, if you're ready to change. Napoleon Hill discovered this secret nearly a century ago. A positive mental attitude is the starting point for achieving anything. Wealth, love, peace, purpose. And most people spend their entire lives ignoring it. They live complaining, sabotaging themselves, expecting miracles, while their minds are planting exactly the opposite of what they want to reap. What you think, feel, and believe is what shapes your reality. This is more than spirituality. It's behavioral science. It's vibration. It's mind power in action. And here's the controversial part. There's no point in making positive statements if inside you continue to feed fear, doubt, and negative thoughts. True positivity is not faked. It is constructed. And in this video, you will learn how to truly develop this positive mental attitude, step by step, in such a natural way that it will become part of who you are. Get ready to see the world with different eyes. Oh, and before we continue, if you really want to transform your life from the root, which is your mind, subscribe to the channel. This greatly helps the growth of this work and ensures that you do not miss any of the upcoming content that will expand your awareness and open paths where previously there was only blockage. Now, take a deep breath. Because what comes next can show you why life hasn't taken off so far. And more than that, it can teach you how to turn this game around. Many people talk about having a positive mental attitude, but few really understand what this means in practice. It is not about smiling all the time or ignoring problems. It is an internal attitude, a conscious decision to respond to life with responsibility, courage, and faith in the best. Napoleon Hill was categorical when he said that this attitude is the starting point of all achievement. It is like a mental seed that, when watered with the right thoughts, blossoms into personal growth, professional development, and abundance. This positive mental attitude is not something you inherit or buy. It is built, day by day, thought by thought. It's an internal job that requires self-discipline and constant mental reprogramming. Imagine that your mind is like a garden. If you don't carefully choose what to plant, weeds, that is, limiting beliefs and negative thinking, will take over. Therefore, anyone who wants to become rich not only financially, but in all aspects of life, needs to learn how to manifest the success mentality that supports a fulfilling life. A positive mental attitude is also knowing that, even in the face of failures, there is a power of the mind capable of transforming each obstacle into momentum. An example? People like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times to find the formula for the electric light bulb, but never lost the belief that success was possible. This is the mindset of success, continuing to believe, even when the facts try to convince you otherwise. And whoever feeds this inner faith ends up creating a vibration that attracts the ideal conditions to prosper. In everyday life, this attitude is reflected in small choices. How do you react to criticism? How do you interpret a setback? Anyone who trains their positive thinking can find a way out even in chaos. Instead of complaining, he learns. Instead of victimizing himself, he acts. This is not denial of reality. It is mastery over it. And this mastery begins in thought. A simple, "this will pass," can be more powerful than hours of silent despair. A positive mental attitude also shapes how we view others. Those who develop this inner strength do not judge, do not envy, do not compete in a toxic way. He understands that personal growth is a ladder that everyone can climb. This creates an emotional frequency of collaboration, compassion, and respect, which only strengthens one's ability to manifest wealth and good opportunities. And when this becomes a habit, what previously seemed impossible starts to happen fluidly. In fact, it's no wonder that so many leaders, mentors, and self-help authors like Napoleon Hill insist on this practice. Because deep down, everything starts in the invisible. What you believe, feel, and repeat mentally is what you end up experiencing. Anyone who cultivates a positive mind lives in a state of continuous manifestation. It's as if the universe became a mirror, reflecting everything you decide to support internally. And the beauty of this is that this choice is 100% in your hands. And if I told you that it is possible to train the mind to generate thoughts so powerful that they become an almost inevitable reality, there is a simple but profound process that separates those who find out how to cultivate constructive thoughts. Cultivating constructive thoughts is like tuning your mind to what you want to live. It is a daily, silent, and powerful exercise. Many people underestimate the impact of a single positive thought, but it is precisely this first impulse that can change the entire course of a day or a life. Napoleon Hill said that what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. But to do this, she needs to be trained to conceive ideas that elevate, not sink. Thoughts are seeds, and whoever plants self-confidence reaps possibilities. Katen. Secret is in repetition. The mind is shaped by what you repeat. Therefore, use affirmations as a construction tool. Affirmations like, I am capable, everything conspires in my favor, or, I attract opportunities, are not just pretty phrases. They are instruments of mental reprogramming. When repeated with feeling, they break limiting patterns and create positive thought trails that direct your vibration towards what you really want to manifest. Try writing your own sentences and reciting them out loud every day when you wake up. The difference is real, but be careful. Cultivating is not the same as controlling. You don't need to fight with negative thoughts. You just can't let them dominate. Bad thoughts will arise, it's normal, but you can decide not to feed them. Imagine they are like heavy clouds. Let them pass. Focus your energy on what you build. Ideas that lift you up. Visions of the future that awaken motivation. Mental images that connect you with the life you want to live. The more you repeat this pattern, the stronger it becomes. A good practical exercise is substitution. Whenever a sabotaging thought arises, replace it with another that has a greater weight of hope. For example, change. I won't be able to do it, for I still don't know how, but I'm learning to do it. This simple change of phrase already changes your body chemistry, your emotional state, and your attitude towards life. And this internal transformation is the basis of personal growth and a successful mindset. It is also essential to take care of what fuels your thoughts. What you watch, who you talk to, the content you consume. All of this enters your mind and becomes raw material for your mental pattern. If you want to develop, you need to filter what comes in. Swap series that make you anxious for books that uplift you. Swap negative talk for podcasts about personal development, self-discipline, and manifesting wealth. Simple, but consistent. Choices change everything. Another important point. Constructive thoughts generate constructive actions, and action is what turns desire into reality. So don't stop at the thought, use it as fuel. If you've thought about starting a business, look for mentors. If you imagined a richer life, study about abundance, money, finances, and start with what you have. The power of the mind is only complete when it finds a body willing to act with courage. And anyone who combines positive thinking with attitude inevitably approaches success. Now tell me, what if there was a way to protect that positive vibration against everything that tries to pull you down? What if it was possible to shield yourself from external negativity and remain firm, as if you had an invisible armor that protects your mind? Gratitude is the key that unlocks the power of the mind and makes positivity flow without resistance. Napoleon Hill, in his teachings, always emphasized that an attitude of gratitude is fundamental to success. After all, if you're not grateful for what you have now, how can you expect more abundance in your life? Gratitude is not just a spiritual practice, but a mindset for success. When you put yourself in a state of gratitude, your mind opens to opportunities, and positive energy begins to circulate around you like a magnet that attracts everything that is good. But true gratitude goes beyond just saying thank you for a good thing that happened. It involves a profound change in perspective, where you begin to see the positive side even in difficulties. When you find something to be grateful for, even in the midst of chaos, you activate your mind for prosperity. If something went wrong, instead of complaining, ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? What can I learn from this to grow further? And before continuing, if this content makes sense to you, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. This is very important so that I can continue producing content like this and so that you don't miss the next videos. Combined? Now let's continue. Gratitude creates a vibrational resonance that reverberates throughout the universe. And the most powerful thing is that when you express gratitude, the universe responds. People around you feel this energy and begin to collaborate with you more. Opportunities expand, and adverse situations begin to transform into valuable learning experiences. This is manifestation in action. And it is through this attitude of gratitude that the path to abundance in all aspects of your life opens. Each day offers countless reasons to be grateful, even in the little things. Health, a smile from a loved one, an opportunity to learn something new, or even challenges, which are true lessons in self-discovery. When you start focusing on everyday blessings, positivity grows stronger, creating a spiral of growth. For example, start your day by listing 3 things you are grateful for. Even on difficult days, do this exercise and notice how your energy changes in minutes. And here's something important. Gratitude doesn't require perfection. You don't have to have everything to be grateful. Instead of focusing on what's missing, be grateful for what's already present. By doing this, you create space for more good things to come. Those who live in constant gratitude align themselves with the frequency of prosperity, and the universe responds with more of everything you desire. Gratitude is not just a tool for self-knowledge. It is a way of life. By cultivating this habit, you become a magnetic person. Other people will be attracted to your positive energy, and you will notice how you feel calmer, more at peace, and more optimistic. This creates a cycle where positivity grows organically and contagiously. And over time, gratitude will no longer be a deliberate practice but second nature, something you simply feel all the time. Imagine when that deep gratitude meets a kind of optimism that doesn't depend on circumstances, a conscious optimism that remains firm even when everything around it shakes. Conscious optimism is much more than believing that everything will work out. It is the firm, rational, and courageous choice to keep your mind focused on solutions even when everything seems to fall apart. Napoleon Hill used to say that optimism is a state of mind that can be cultivated with the same dedication as cultivating friendship. And he was right, because true optimism, the kind that builds wealth, health, and personal development, is not naive. He is trained, honed, and strengthened with discipline. The difference between a conscious optimist and a dreamer, disconnected from reality, is inaction. While the second waits for the universe to solve everything for him, the first uses the power of the mind to create a plan, act with confidence, and adjust the route whenever necessary. He understands that positivity is not about denying the problem, but about keeping faith in the midst of the storm. And that changes everything, because this active stance creates a vibrational field that attracts responses, resources, allies, and even miracles. People with a success mindset carry this type of optimism. They do not see failure as an end, but as the beginning of something new. Instead of thinking, "This isn't for me," they say, "This is shaping me for something greater." This mindset is one of the greatest weapons against limiting beliefs. Because when you believe that it is possible to grow, enrich, manifest, and evolve, reality aligns with this certainty with impressive precision. It's almost as if the universe says, "Now you're ready." And here's a secret. Conscious optimism is also a daily choice. It needs to be fed with content that elevates, with habits that transform, and with examples that inspire. Want to surround yourself with optimism? Read Napoleon Hill. Listen to self-help and personal development audios. Watch real stories of overcoming. Swap the news for a positive-minded podcast. These simple changes strengthen your emotional muscles, and when the difficult days come, because they will come, you will be prepared. This realistic optimism also improves your health, your productivity, and your leadership abilities. It is impossible to grow personally or professionally without believing in yourself. Companies look for people like this, relationships flourish around people like this, and life itself makes room for those who live with faith, courage, and gratitude. It's the kind of mentality that attracts open doors, even when everything seems locked. Have you ever noticed how conscious optimists are more creative? Because when fear paralyzes, they continue to act. They find paths where others see walls. They see learning where others only see mistakes. And this vision becomes a lens that changes everything. From how you see your own past, to how you build your future. It's not magic, it's a trained mind. and a mind like that is unbeatable. What if you could maintain that positive attitude even under pressure? What if, even when everything around you seems to want to bring you down, you manage to maintain calm, focus, and clarity of purpose? A person's true strength is not revealed when everything is fine, but rather when the world seems to be falling apart around them. Maintaining a positive attitude under pressure is one of the most powerful skills anyone can develop, and also one of the most challenging. Napoleon Hill already said that adversity has the ability to awaken talents that, in peaceful times, would remain dormant. When you are tested, life is asking you, do you really believe what you say? This is when the power of the mind needs to firmly enter the scene. Being under pressure does not mean being defeated. It means you are being stoned. Just as a diamond is only formed under extreme pressure and heat, the deepest personal growth is born when everything invites you to give up, and you choose to persist. Maintaining positivity in this scenario is, yes, difficult, but it is possible. And this is precisely what differentiates those who just survive from those who thrive. A disciplined, reprogrammed mind, trained to see beyond chaos, will always find a way. A practical technique for maintaining balance in these moments is to breathe and name the situation clearly. Tell yourself, I'm under pressure, but this is temporary. I have the inner resources to deal with it. This activates the rational brain, slows down the emotional response, and restores your self-confidence. You don't have to control everything, but you can control your response. And this response, when guided by positive thinking and conscious optimism, can turn the tide in minutes. Another powerful feature is keeping in mind the reason you started. Pressures and challenges gain less power when compared to your long-term vision. If you know where you're going, each obstacle becomes part of the process, not a sign that you should stop. This strengthens your self-discipline and keeps you on the path of professional, personal, and spiritual development. It's like an inner compass that keeps you from getting lost in external emotional storms. You can also use targeted affirmations, specific to moments of pressure. Phrases like, I am stronger than this challenge, or, this situation is preparing me for something greater, work as mental anchors. They interrupt the cycle of negative thinking and realign you with a success mindset. The more you repeat it, the more your subconscious believes it. And when he believes, you act with more confidence, with more clarity, with more power. Remember, it's not about never falling. It's about learning to get up faster, with more wisdom, with more faith. Each crisis carries a message, and those who know how to listen to that message with a calm heart transform chaos into progress. This is self-improvement at its core. It is the practice of manifestation being forged in adversity, and this is exactly what builds an unshakable mind. Now tell me, what if there were practical ways to restructure your own thoughts, as if you could reshape the mental architecture that sustains your life? What if it were possible to learn techniques to change negative patterns at the exact moment they arise? Restructuring your own thoughts is like renovating the house where your soul lives. The mind, when dominated by limiting beliefs, creates invisible walls that prevent you from seeing what lies beyond. But the good news is, you can redo everything. You can break down these mental walls, open windows of understanding, and build a new structure, aligned with what you want to live. Napoleon Hill called this mental re-education, and he believed it was one of the strongest foundations for personal growth and the manifestation of wealth. One of the most powerful techniques is internal questioning. When you identify a negative thought like, I'm not good enough, you immediately ask yourself, is this a fact or an interpretation? This simple question makes room for awareness, and awareness makes room for change. Most sabotaging thoughts dismantle when they are placed under the light of reason. And when you unmask a lie you've believed for years, a new path begins to emerge. Another practical tool is strategic substitution. As soon as you notice a self-destructive thought, replace it with another that has a constructive basis. For example, change, I will fail again, to, I am evolving, learning, and becoming stronger with each attempt. This practice of constant replacement reshapes your mind, like someone who redesigns their own destiny. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your brain starts to do this on its own. And then, the magic happens. You can also apply the inversion technique. Whenever you feel fear, insecurity, or doubt, ask, what if everything works out? This simple question unlocks pathways of positive thinking and activates the power of the mind to find solutions. Many people live stuck because they only visualize the worst-case scenario, but inversion forces you to contemplate the best. And by doing so, you tune into the frequency of manifestation, abundance, and the success mindset. Guided visualizations are also a fundamental part of cognitive restructuring. Every day for 5 minutes, close your eyes and imagine what your life would be like if all sabotaging thoughts were removed. How would you behave? How would you speak? What decisions would you make? Visualize it in full detail and feel this new version of yourself in your body. This trains the brain to accept this reality as possible, and when it accepts it, it begins to act toward it. Writing is also a powerful technique. Write down your fears, then confront each one with positive arguments. Write affirmations that empower you, repeat them with emotion and read them out loud before going to sleep. Writing reinforces mental reprogramming and also allows you to monitor your own evolution. Little by little, you realize that thoughts that once seemed absolute truths no longer have power over you. And that's when a new stage begins. You start to attract people who reflect this new mindset. Your relationships change. His dialogues soar. And you realize that you are building a new energy field around you. But what if you consciously chose who is by your side, surrounding yourself with people who feed your mind, not drain your energy? Have you ever noticed how some people make you feel lighter, more confident, more creative, while others seem to suck your energy and plant doubt in your heart? This is not chance. It is vibrational influence. Napoleon Hill spoke clearly about this when he wrote about the mastermind, the union of minds that strengthen each other towards success. Choosing who you walk with is as powerful a decision as any manifestation technique, because the environment shapes the mind, and the mind creates reality. Being surrounded by people who elevate your mind is like living on fertile soil. Your ideas flourish more easily. Your plans gain encouragement. Your positive beliefs expand. It's amazing how a conversation with the right person can awaken courage you didn't even know you had. On the other hand, all it takes is one toxic phrase from someone negative to destroy days of internal progress. Therefore, protecting your vibration includes protecting your connections. Elevated people are not perfect, but they are conscious. They don't judge you for dreaming big. They encourage you. They don't laugh at your desire to get rich. They want to learn how to manifest it too. They don't compete in a toxic way. They add up, collaborate, pull you up. And when you start to live surrounded by this type of energy, your life begins to rise naturally. It's as if personal growth has become inevitable. If you feel like you don't have anyone like that today, start looking. Participate in groups, communities, courses, online events that talk about personal development, success mindset, self-help, and mind power. Read authors like Napoleon Hill, Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor. Watch content that expands your vision. And, if no one around you vibrates at that frequency, be the starting point. You attract what you put out. Always. It is also important to know how to walk away wisely. Not every separation is a lack of love. Sometimes it's an act of self-love. You don't need to cut ties abruptly, but you can silence conversations, limit access, and protect your plans from those who only know how to criticize. Creating limits is not coldness, it is emotional maturity. And those who understand this place themselves in a space where mental reprogramming can flourish in peace. And when you're surrounded by people who push you, something magical happens. Your faith grows. You become braver, bolder, more disciplined. Dreams that seem distant begin to seem possible. Ideas start to flow, and you feel a certainty within yourself. I am on the right path. This vibration, combined with positive thinking and inspired attitudes, is the formula for accelerated manifestation. Imagine how your life would transform if, in addition to having a high mind, you started attracting opportunities almost like a magnet. What would happen if positivity became your dominant frequency, capable of opening doors and making the impossible happen? There is a silent truth that Napoleon Hill revealed, and that many still ignore. Positivity is a frequency that attracts. And we're not talking about cheap optimism, but a deep, coherent vibration, rooted in conscious positive thinking, that emanates from your mental and energetic field. When you sustain this state, the right doors begin to open, as if the universe is listening to your every intention. Because in fact, it is. The world responds to the energy you emit. Positive people don't have luck. They have alignment. It's as if their minds operate like an invisible radar that detects the possibilities hidden in everyday life. While someone who is negative only sees obstacles, someone with a success mindset identifies gaps, connections, and ideas that go unnoticed by eyes contaminated by doubt. And that's where the difference lies. The opportunity is in the same place. For everyone, but only those who vibrate in the right state can recognize it. This positivity fuels inspired action. It drives bolder decisions, more productive conversations, and more strategic attitudes. An example: people who keep complaining are never remembered to lead important projects. Those who exude motivation, clarity, and enthusiasm naturally become references. And the most fascinating thing is that this applies to all areas of life: relationships, career, health, finances. Everything improves when your vibration rises. What's more, opportunities don't just come in the form of events. Sometimes the greatest opportunity is an insight, a new idea, a chance encounter that changes everything, a conversation that turns on an internal light. And these little sparks only manifest when the mind is open, awake, grateful, and attentive. Positivity creates this receptive state. It's like you're telling the universe, "I'm ready for the next level." And the universe responds, always. But this energy also drives away what is not for you. When you align with a higher vibration, people and situations that no longer match your new state begin to naturally move away. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is liberating. Because little by little, everything that remains in your life begins to be in harmony with your process of self-improvement, mental reprogramming, and manifestation. And best of all, positivity doesn't require you to be perfect, but rather that you be intentional. It's a daily decision, a commitment to your personal development, a silent pact with your higher self. When you assume this posture, you begin to feel a pull from within, as if something bigger is guiding you. And this drive takes you to places you never imagined reaching. Now, what if this positive energy was no longer an effort, but a natural state? What if it flowed into you so easily that it attracted opportunities even in the simplest moments, like a conversation in the elevator or an unexpected message? There is a point in personal development where positivity stops being a forced practice and becomes a natural state of being. It's as if, after training your mind power, repeating affirmations, reprogramming beliefs, and cultivating constructive thoughts, your mind simply starts to function in a new pattern. Lighter, clearer, more fluid. Napoleon Hill said that there is a point at which the habit of faith becomes stronger than doubt. And when that happens, reality begins to reorganize itself in an impressive way. At this stage, the success mindset is already so ingrained that you perceive adversities as part of a larger plan and not as threats. You become less reactive, more aware. And that is liberating. The things that used to take you off your axis now pass like wind. The dense energy of others no longer affects you. Doubts diminish, fears shrink, and faith expands. A firm, silent faith that does not need external approval because it already stands on its own. Natural positivity is not alienation. It's lucidity. It is the ability to see reality and still choose to see the constructive side. It's living in a state of effortless gratitude. It's waking up already connected with the abundance of the universe, without needing to convince yourself of anything. It is as if the body, mind, and soul begin to operate in tune. And this tune creates everyday miracles. Right meetings, right ideas, right words at the right time. Everything starts to make sense. And do you know what's most beautiful about this? You start to influence others without even realizing it. Your presence becomes inspiring. People feel at peace around you. They seek advice. They ask how you manage to keep that sparkle in your eyes. And you humbly know that it all started when you decided to change your thoughts. That everything was built, step by step, in the silence of your mind, while the world outside continued on automatic. This is when manifestation happens most easily. You no longer need to try so hard to attract abundance, growth, wealth, love. These things come to you naturally because you have become compatible with them. You no longer chase, you emanate. And what you emanate inevitably returns. This is the pinnacle of real self-help, of applied mental reprogramming. of mature spiritual development. You begin to realize that you don't need big events to feel good. A hot coffee, a good conversation, an insight while reading a book like Think and Grow Rich, everything becomes a blessing. Life gains more color. You are no longer seeking to save yourself. You are simply living, creating, expanding, helping others to rise as well. This is legacy. This is inner freedom. And now that you understand the power of living with this authentic positivity pulsing through you, tell me, what would happen if you decided to maintain this state permanently? What would change in your life if you never let fear take control again? Most people will ignore this knowledge and continue living automatically, complaining about life, repeating patterns and attracting more of the same. But you don't have to be one of them. The decision is in your hands. The question is, will you apply this or will you let these words become just another forgotten video? You now have the tools that thousands of successful people have used to change their reality. The success mindset, the power of the mind, the practice of gratitude, affirmations, mental reprogramming, all of this can put you in a new cycle of personal growth, abundance, and manifestation. But none of that matters if you don't make a decision. And that decision begins with a commitment to applying this new mental pattern you just learned every day. So what will it be? Will you continue to allow negative thoughts to dictate your destiny? Or will you take control, develop a real positive mental attitude, and start attracting the opportunities you deserve? Stop and think seriously. What would change if starting today you committed to this new version of yourself? How many doors could you open? How many pains could you overcome? How much wealth, internal and external, could you finally manifest? I now invite you to leave a comment saying what impacted you most about this video. Which part made you reflect? Which technique will you apply first? Your interaction here not only shows me that this content made sense to you, but also helps to spread this message to more people who, like you, are seeking evolution. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time. Turn on notifications to continue receiving content like this, which touches the soul and restructures the mind, because your transformation doesn't end here. It's just beginning.